Welcome to the Why We Started podcast, the show that gives business owners a platform to share the real story behind their brand. I'm your host, Vanessa Grace, and each week we dive into the why behind the business. Whether it started from a passion, a problem, or a random what-if moment, this is where we explore what makes your business different from anyone else in your industry. Because behind every business, there's a story worth sharing. Welcome back to the Why We Started podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Grace, and today's guest is Dana Johnson, a Pinterest manager, the founder of Dana's Desk. She helps creative entrepreneurs grow without the burnout by using Pinterest as a sustainable, evergreen marketing tool. She is here to share her why showing up online doesn't have to be meaning that you are online 24/7. So welcome, Dana.
Having me. I'm super excited to chat with you today.
Yeah. So bring us back to the beginning. What made you start Dana's Desk? What is the real reason behind it?
So Dana's Desk started out of necessity in the sense of I needed a side hustle. I was a single mom at the height of the pandemic with 3 kids, and my background was in wedding planning and event planning. So when that side hustle literally went up in smoke, I needed something that would provide flexibility, stability. So I essentially just pivoted on a dime to find something that would allow me to use my creative and logistical brain that supported other wedding pros without me having to go out and navigate how can I help this couple get married. I've always been drawn to systems and strategy and, figuring out how to make things work. And so Dana's Desk became that outlet where I actually showed up as a virtual assistant and business manager and helped those industries consistently show up and support their clients and keep their back end running while they navigated more fires than we knew what to do with, basically, because that took a lot of time and energy on their part. And, timelines still had to be created somehow. Vendors still need to be answered. Couples still had 5,000 questions about the normal wedding things, let alone the new things. So I stepped in and filled that gap for them from the safety of my own home. And then it just evolved over time into the Pinterest management because still, wedding shows are back now, but then they did not exist. That didn't go virtual. So I started looking for ways to help them continue to bring leads in, even though they couldn't do a wedding show and get the bulk of their stuff. And so that's how I found Pinterest and started reverse engineering the mindset of their searches to lead them to my current clients' websites, services, galleries, everything.
So what was the draw to Pinterest over any other kind of social media platform?
I love that it's a discoverability platform. It's not social. So with social media, the algorithm doesn't like when you put links in your caption, right? So you have to link in bio or it's in the comments. You have to put it somewhere sneaky to pull people from the platform, or your stuff tanks and it doesn't get pushed out as much. Pinterest is designed for you to discover other people and go to their websites. So that was the biggest draw that attracted me, is you wouldn't get dinged for adding a link in the post itself. It's designed for you to do that. They want you to go to credible websites and pages, and so you don't get dinged. You actually get boosted more because you are showing them that you're a credible website. Also, the lifespan of the content is longer once you navigate and figure out SEO and keywords and everything, which you should be doing on social media anyway. But if you tweak it a little bit for the platform that it's on, one pin can last 6 months compared to a Instagram post, which is 24 to 48 hours or less if you're lucky. Or if you're using another platform, it's less than that.
What kind of creative entrepreneurs were you seeing struggle? How did you inspire your direction?
So the ones like me, the people I kept seeing struggle were the ones that were doing literally everything themselves. So not only sticking with your why and your passion of creating weddings or designers or being a photographer. But now you have to take that content and somehow turn it into a reel, a story, a carousel, multiple stories. And that's a lot. They were spending hours creating content for social media platforms and then getting burned out trying to keep up with the trends. What's the trending music? Is this the best 7 second thing that I have right now that I can use to tie to the music or the dance or to the whatever? And then still not seeing the results that matched all the effort. I am one of those people. So that's what inspired me to finally go all in on Pinterest, because it rewards the kind of content that most of them are already creating anyway, like those styled editorials, the galleries, and they just needed a better way to use it.
Do you feel like Pinterest is mainly just for people that are in the wedding industry, or is it there's a wide variety of niches that can be utilizing Pinterest?
I think Pinterest can solve a lot of niches marketing woes. Pinterest I guess that's the best way to say it. So Pinterest is way more than what it used to be. So like I was one of the OG Pinterest, like you had to be invited to get onto the platform. And I remember submitting my request and finally getting onto the platform. But people are searching for more than just homeschool ideas or pre-K things to do with your kids. They're looking for business tips, wellness routines. We're looking for brand design inspo, financial planning advice. You name it, people are searching for it. And because our society has become more visual, like we need to see the outcome, and because social media has all the imagery, Pinterest allows you to use the power of Google and searching to find an answer to your problem, but tie it to a visual. So now it's not just you going down a rabbit hole of random searches. You can now see that's what I want to look like on my health and wellness journey. I can do that workout. I'm going to save that and come back to it. Oh, I love how she posed for her brand photo shoot. I'm going to save that. I need guidance on how to expand my team, or I want to start a business in general. How do I do that? And now you can see what that looks like with visuals and discoverability on there. So if you are a business that has something helpful, inspiring, or educational, Pinterest is where you need to be.
So do you find that, like, obviously with like social media, so let's just say Instagram or TikTok, they'll obviously post on like a regular basis to just get a brand awareness. So Pinterest is obviously a little bit different. It's not necessarily, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Not necessarily all about brand awareness, but more about like the actual either education or um, products that you are trying to like push or inspire them to either buy or just save, do as like a in a business point of view. If someone was like, okay, I really want to work with you or learn how you can manage my Pinterest, how would you kind of go about that to make it so it's like almost like a way for them to monetize their business in some way?
So, for someone that new to me and essentially new to Pinterest, I would start looking at what they already have. So, Pinterest is amazing at connecting your content with intentional people. They aren't passive scrollers like they are on other platforms. They're actively searching for solutions, inspiration, and ideas for whatever it is that they're like planning. They're planners and not just wedding planners. They're people that know, like, oh, a vacation is coming, or oh, I have this launch that I'm doing, or I'm dabbling in email marketing. That's my fourth quarter goal, but I need to start prepping for it now. So I start looking at, when I work with a client, I send them a very in-depth questionnaire. And we take a look at your existing content, and then we make tweaks to it first for it to be evergreen. So pain points that their audience will have today, tomorrow, next year, probably 5 years from now. And then that's how we build out the keyword strategy and like the bank of what we're going to use. And then we look at what's trending based on their ideal audience, and then tie those two things together to create the pinned content. And then we lead them to the lead magnets to grow their email list. We lead it to social media posts that have a mini chat, keyword, a workflow tied to it. We send it directly to the service page or the contact page. We send it to a variety of places for the same content. Podcast episodes are a great one because what Pinterest allows, and I will probably butcher this, but the latest marketing statistic that came from Google is it takes 10 to 12 touch points, but that is over the course of I think I did an episode on this, and so I should know it better. But it's 10 to 12 touch points, but that's over 4 platforms and a few other different, like, it's like 6 hours worth of like learning from you over the course of however long those 10 to 12, 14 touch points take. So what I use Pinterest to do, knowing that statistic, is I help you naturally put people on 4 different platforms. So they find you on Pinterest, then we take them to your website, where we take them to your newsletter, where we take them to your Instagram, and then they can build that know, like, trust factor through these different things. But it's all organic. So that's how I tap into no matter what your industry is. And that could be anything from what we typically think as an entrepreneur is like a coach, a Pinterest manager, a social media manager, all the way to car dealerships. I just met with someone like 2 weeks ago who a car dealership is wanting to tap into Pinterest on the ideal audience of its moms that make the decision on what car they get because they want to know their kids are safe or they're going on a road trip. And so we're tapping into not the features and the hard sell of this is what you get with a car, but the vision and the intention behind why do you want that car? Why do you need a new car? And let's work with them on that. So any industry can almost find a way. There's some that will obviously perform better, but I swear if you want to solve a problem, Pinterest should be where you're at.
Oh my gosh, that is so
Hopefully
cool.
that helps answer.
No, no, I mean, I feel like it's just an open-ended question, so you can kind of just go with it however you wanted to. I would never think like that a car dealership would be on Pinterest, but that makes 100% sense, just in the sense of like you're searching, like Pinterest 100% is just I feel like it's just a search tool. I mean,
Mhm.
Instagram is also becoming a search tool too. I feel like it's like people are now becoming like, I'm just going to type in a restaurant and I want to see what pictures pop up on Instagram. But I feel like Pinterest is like the mother lode of like, I'm going to, instead of Googling this, I want to see the imagery on the next level. And I feel like Pinterest is where it's at. I'm on Pinterest pretty much every single day, just like wanting to like get ideas, get inspiration. So I feel the value in it. But I'm a social media manager myself because I usually work on Instagram with my clients. So I'm just curious, like, what is your like hot take on working primarily through Pinterest versus Instagram or TikTok?
I think, well, one, I want to agree. Pinterest isn't social, it's a search engine, it's a discoverability platform. So I think some of my hot takes are the content you create today can work for you 6 months from now. There's no pressure to be on all the time, like with other platforms. I am honestly seeing somewhat of a shift on that on Instagram. It's still social, so there's algorithm things to be mindful of, but they're even talking about including more keywords in your content so it can be discovered. So, but my hot take is you don't need to post every single day to grow your business. You just need the right content in the right places. So repurpose, spend your time, energy, and effort on the content that you really love to create. So if you're someone who loves to create reels, do not stop doing that, but put it on Instagram and Facebook, but then repurpose it and batch it in a way where it can serve you, your audience, and overall your mental health in a much better and more positive form. So, because burnout shouldn't be a business strategy. And that's where I was. I hate posting all the time. But I love working with social media managers who handle the content. Your team is creating that content for them to help your clients stand out and be a leader in their industry and, to go viral. Well, Pinterest, you should also include Pinterest in that on the back end. Almost like if you were running ads to grow a post for your client, you should also be putting it on Pinterest just because Now you have 6 month worth of visibility on this post going viral. So you can almost hack the algorithm, in my opinion, of it's going to be viral for longer, not just 48 hours, because you're repurposing it on Pinterest and continuously bringing people to that one post.
That's really cool. No, I think that explains it so well. I do want to give you kind of the floor to tell us a little bit more about your styled pin collection. What is that all about?
So the styled pin collection is something that I took too long to create, is what it is. I just self-sabotage, not really, but it is a passion project that when I first started doing Pinterest, I was like, everyone, like, we need an easier way to create graphics, that sort of thing, because no one has time for that. That's why people outsource to social media managers in the first place. Or there's Instagram graphic template designers that you can buy from, So, like, it was from that idea. So, the Style Pin Collection is a monthly pin template subscription made for creative business owners. They're designed to take the overwhelm out of content creation so that you can plug and play your brand, your photos, and then create pin titles and descriptions to lead to wherever it is that you want to go. So each month I release 30 Canva templates that align with what's actually trending on Pinterest. I look at that every single week just to keep up with it. And it's not about just looking pretty, which it's visual. So that is, yes, an important element, but it's also about being strategic and showing up consistently, even when the time is tight. Like, you have something once per day, batch scheduled. So, like, this is designed for you to get it done in like a 1 to 2 hour time block for the whole month.
Is this collection supposed to be for a specific industry? Is it for all industries?
I mean, weddings are at the top of it, but creative business owners, like, I had a health and wellness coach is a part of the Style Pen collection, and she just takes it and tweaks it. Because I have a tool resources library that kind of shows you how to take your content and break it down into pin titles and descriptions. So all she has to do is update the text overlay, but she has the bones or the template outline already done for her.
And you said it's a monthly like membership subscription. How much is it?
$32 a month. I probably should have included that too.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I love that. And you also have a podcast as well. Do you have one podcast or two podcasts?
I have my own podcast that I do solo, and then I have one that I co-host with, so called the Entrepreneur Encounter, where we talk about soft skills and just behind the scenes how me and my friend are building our business through soft skills. It's just a ride along with us. But the Unapologetic Pinner is one where I talk about all things Pinterest, evergreen content, sustainable marketing, like just inspiration on you can do this without burning out and having to rebuild every 6 months.
Okay, awesome. So you said the unapologetic. What's that last word?
Pinner.
Cute. Okay. Is that is all you talking about like behind the scenes of Pinterest and how to not be burnt out doing it, right?
Correct.
And then what was the other podcast and what's the name of that?
So the other one is Entrepreneur Encounter, and it is a duo, me and Sarah, where we come and really talk about soft skills, professional development, and how to utilize them to grow a business. Because many entrepreneurs in that early stage, they are probably still balancing a full-time job or part-time job and trying to do this, or they still have the mindset of being a worker bee and not a business owner. And it's taken me 3 to 5 years to figure out that's a really different mindset. Like, if everything goes right, it's my fault. If everything goes wrong, it's still my fault. And so taking that on and not only handling the fires now, but being able to think in the future, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years of where I want to be, that's a lot of mental elasticity that you got to build, and that happens through soft skills.
That's really cool. I think there's a huge power of just like business owners sticking together and helping each other out. So I think that's really awesome.
Thank you.
What's one transformation you've seen in someone who use your resources or approach?
Well, two people come to mind with this one. One was when I was just not pretending, but like dabbling in Pinterest, and they were just a virtual assistant business management client. And I was like, hey, I want to try something and it's free. Can I do it? Because I didn't want to, I will never charge someone something if I don't fully understand what it is that I'm doing. So it was extra work on my end. But I had a wedding planner client who was the main reason I chose them of my client list is they were wanting to step into a more luxury market. They had a lot of budget brides or mid-tier brides, and they wanted to really elevate their services. So they were starting to do more styled editorials. So we had better quality photos. They were networking with vendors in a much more strategic way and intentional way. And so I was like, hey, can I take this and can I do something with it? So we revamped their Instagram. That was the primary goal of my job. And then I took that content and the galleries from their website and put them on Pinterest and was playing around with different pin titles and descriptions and leading them to both social media and their website. And within 2 to 3 months, we saw a 216% increase in website traffic, so outbound clicks, after we optimized their Pinterest profile and the content that was going on. And again, that was just 1 to 2 pins per day because they weren't paying me for it, so I batched it as best I could, and it averaged about 1 to 2 per day. So we didn't change the offers, we didn't change any brand colors, we just made their content easier to find, and they started seeing the result that made it, you know, pretty obvious that the platform was powerful when used strategically. Another person that I want to recommend or like highlight is they were a luxury, well, she was a wedding planner turned travel planner. So she was doing both. And we had to pause services for a few months. And then she came back and I took a peek at her Pinterest because, I wanted to see if it was still working. So I think it was 4 months where we pinned no content. She still had over 1,000 monthly views on her profile from content that was from 4 months ago. Now she's a travel planner, and so obviously that industry and niche does really well on Pinterest. So, but that's just the peace of mind of even though we weren't pinning new stuff, we weren't creating new blogs, her website was still seeing traffic because of stuff we did 4 months ago.
That's really cool.
It's so helpful. Because I was worried. I was like, oh, man, they're going to tank and we have to start over. No, she still was pulling over 1,000 monthly views on her content. Like her outbound clicks did go down, but the fact that it was still being seen and saved is great. That means they'll come to it later when they're ready to actually book their flight or their whatever they're booking, their trip.
That's really cool. I feel like I'm learning something new. I mean, being a social media manager in general, we just kind of like we have so many different kind of platforms, and so I feel like I'm learning a lot about Pinterest. And I'm like, why have I ever not thought about this this route? So this is really cool.
I think the same thing. But that's why like the style pin is so cost effective. Like it probably should not be $32. But I want more people to understand and feel confident because you can find $32 to try something and not feel like you wasted money. So it allows you to test it and see what can happen when you're repurposing the content. Because it's not an either or. Pinterest is the and. Like you need social media and a discoverability platform. And most people think of Google, but people are visual. That's why video content is huge. So repurpose that content on a visual platform so that you have quick hits from social and long-term foundations with Pinterest.
So it's actually better if you're working hand in hand, like you're doing all of them, not just like you're just doing Pinterest. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I think you should do both. But don't do it in a way that's going to stress you out, which is why I say like don't do 5 pins per day if that's not going to work for you. but start slow and steady. I mean, if you have the capacity and you really have big goals, yes, do full service Pinterest management. I won't stop you. But if you're just wanting that safety, peace of mind that things are working in the background because I forgot to post my reel today, which actually happened yesterday. I forgot to post my reel. Then I already know that I have enough content on Pinterest that I'm still visible online. And so I'm going to post my reel today.
What would you say to someone who is totally feeling burnt out from posting every day and keeping up with the trends?
I think the biggest thing is to let go of the hustle culture lie that visibility equals presence. Consistency doesn't have to mean daily. Consistency is whatever is consistent to you.
Yeah.
So it means showing up intentional and to trust that the work that you've done in the past will continue to work for you if you know where to put it, basically. Your podcast episodes will be relevant to someone next year, but they have to be able to find it. And that comes with either reposting it again and again on social media or also putting it on other platforms. And that could be a Google business page so the keywords pop up. It could be on your website with the SEO built into it as a blog. It could be as Pinterest with multiple pins. That way it's continuously getting discovered. Your stuff doesn't stop being relevant just because the next day started. So lean into the things that you already have, and that will help with burnout and like that mindset 100% when you're able to see things in a long-term solution, basically.
What would you say to someone who is possibly thinking about bringing Pinterest into their strategy for their content? What's something that you'd want them to know before even working with you or just in general?
I think really honing in on who your ideal client like avatar is, because that's what we're going to dive into when we're creating content. Like it's content, titles and description and all the hooks on the text overlay are going to be designed to attract them and how they search. So if we don't know who you're serving, we don't know how they search. And so we can still put it out there and you'll probably still see some hits, but we really want to dive into that character's mindset of, I have this problem and what are they going to search for? Also, searching in different ways. The three different people that you want to work with, but their learning styles are different or their questions are going to be different, but they all need the same type of support. They all will use wellness coach. They all want to lose weight and have more energy, but they're going to search in different ways. Their first pain point me, man, I get winded by running after my kids. So we're going to use search points for that. The other one could be, I don't have time to fit in a 30-minute workout into my day. And so we'll touch on that pain point. But that's how we dive into the character and the various ways that they're going to search, all leading to the same solution that you offer.
That's really cool. So how can people connect with you if they want to get started with or curious about Pinterest?
You can find me on my website, ddvirtualmanagement.com, and on Instagram at danas.desk.
Perfect. Well, Dana, thank you so much for talking with us today on the Why We Started podcast. I really love just kind of getting to know you a little bit more about Pinterest. I mean, clearly this is just something that I had no idea about. So, like, clearly you have a new world that I had no idea about. So, we will be posting her information in the show notes. So, definitely make sure that you stay tuned to make sure that you can connect with her, especially if you are like me and have no idea about Pinterest but want to know more. 100% should connect with Dana. So, again, thank you so much for joining us.
It was super fun.